Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
This is episode 133, and we played the wrong introduction for you, but it is all good because it is not about that tonight. This is a special midweek episode 133, and tonight, which we will be discussing John Cena. This episode is all about John Cena. We had a Saturday night's main event post show this past Saturday. However, we wanted to dive more into John Cena tonight. And we have a special returning guest tonight to discuss John Cena, as Cena is one of his biggest fans throughout his whole generation of watching wrestling. Welcoming back to episode 133 of the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast, we got Tommy. Welcome back to the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. You know, I think it's been, a little over 2 years. I think the last show that I remember doing was maybe the Mania 39 post show, maybe. So yeah, a little close to that. As you can see, not a lot has changed. Still rocking the same Devil Rays hat. Got a different background now. Got all the Legos set up, but still the same old wrestling fan. And man, Saturday night was it was a tough watch, dude. Like as a lifelong Cena fan, like I don't know. I got a lot to say on this episode. I'm glad to be back. How are you doing, brother? It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. The podcast is thriving, thank God. And this is actually probably turning into one of our best years.
Love that.
Of the podcast, with a lot of recent momentum that we're looking to carry into 2026. Everything's going good on my end. The Commanders, not so much, but that's okay. Sophomore year is tend to do that.
I don't know if most people remember, but me being an avid Broncos fan, and if you follow me on Facebook or anything like that, you know, you see that. I mean, what are we now? 12-2, 11 straight wins.
You're having some season, 11 straight wins.
Can I ask you, Wayne? Do you believe?
I believe, but there are a couple teams I may also believe in too.
That's fair.
We got the Patriots.
I'm not. You know, honestly, I was just having this conversation with my friends. If the AFC runs through Denver, I'm really only worried about Houston and Buffalo.
Yes, Buffalo is a team that's proven, but they've also come to show that they can lose on any given Sunday.
They've lost a lot of bad games, but I mean, with Josh Allen, you can't put it past them.
No, and I feel like, you know, with the Chiefs out of the way, we're gonna have new AFC championships.
Yes, 100%.
That we can agree on. But you got to keep an eye out for the Patriots. However, the Patriots. Basically, this is their first year of having a really good season, so I kind of consider this like a freshman season for them. Denver's kind of been.
I think you can put
put this together for a couple years now.
They both have young quarterbacks, but with I was just came up in conversation with Drake May. You kind of put him in on a team that doesn't really have a lot of superstars at the start of it. You know, maybe Christian Gonzalez and so, but with Denver. You already had Nick Bonito. You already had Cortland Sutton and Pat Surtain. Like they had players that they were building up to get to this point, and you can kind of plug and play with both.
Yeah, Denver's a little bit more into their build than a couple of these other teams we've mentioned so far, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I said Buffalo and Houston. Houston scares me. I know they've beaten them already, but you know that defense is nasty. Put those two defenses in the Mile High Air. It'll be an interesting matchup, but. For the first time in a long time, and I know a lot of the wins have been close. Even beat your Commanders with Mariota very close in overtime.
Yeah,
like, I'm not gonna apologize for seeing 12 wins, man. I watched a lot of 5 and 7 win seasons over the past 9 years, and you know, at the end of the day, coaches get hired and players get fired with how many times they win a game. So
Yeah,
wins a win, baby.
absolutely. It has
As
been
Al Davis said, just win, baby.
it has been some season for sure, to say the least.
Yeah.
But so we got some talking to do here.
Yes, sir.
We had Saturday night's main event, which we know is the last time that we see John Cena in a wrestling capacity.
Correct.
And it was a very, very good show.
Yeah.
But before we head into all that, I wanted to talk to you, and you basically have been in watching John Cena's career. You basically came in around the beginning of John Cena's career.
Correct.
You're from slightly. You're from more of the newer generation, which believe it or not, it's just finished.
Yeah, really.
From the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, early Shawn Michaels era into Stone Cold Rock.
Yep.
But I wanted to ask you a question, since you basically John Cena's been your main boy for all these years.
Long time, man.
And quite possibly your next main boy might be Braun Breaker, might be Oba Femi. We don't know what
It's still CM Punk for now, man. It's gonna be Punk for now, but
as far as
the
main guy,
Yeah.
the main guy of being the main guy for 20 years, we don't know who that might be next. But we got to take this moment and just kind of appreciate what we've seen over the past 20 years or so. But I want to ask you, since you followed John Cena's whole era, and you've basically have gone on saying that John Cena has been your main guy. So I wanted to ask you, what are three of your most favorite highlights of John Cena, like your top three? And I know that's probably hard to narrow it down. I would say a top 10 list would be a lot easier.
Correct.
But even for me, three was hard to get. I had to, and if you have to throw a couple honorable mentions in there, go for it. But we'd like to hear from you your favorite moments.
Okay, I'll do more recent, since we're kind of talking about his most recent retirement tour and everything that comes with it. I'm a big crowd guy, and that it kind of is a little unfair for the crowds in the United States, because they don't really compete with the international crowds who get maybe one or two shows every 5 years. And I go back to that Clash in Paris match with AJ Styles. I mean, talk about fan service with the every hitting all the moves from TNA and past John Cena opponents, of course, past AJ Styles opponents, the introduction at the beginning, AJ Styles in the classic TNA gear, the entire crowd. I mean, it almost felt like John Cena bought the entire stadium a shirt and just said, "Here you go." Like, they were all in yellow. And it was just a great match. I mean, what I think is 20 minutes or so of just fun, and the crowd was so into it. And I especially the Bray Wyatt moment. I don't think a lot of his matches on this retirement tour were, top notch, and a lot of them weren't supposed to be. But this was just such a fun match. It was so great to see. It seemed like, we kind of hit a lot of those notes with let me hit all of the rivals that I've had in the past, the Ortons, the Punks, the R-Truths. And this one was the first one where I was like, man, they knocked it out of the park, and I want more almost, and it felt like, I was watching, one of our, it's crazy to say this, one of our former podcast guests, Chris Van Vliet's interviews.
Yes, we got to bring him back.
With one, yeah, we surely do. Episode 150, maybe, with John Cena. And he was talking about they basically just said, go free reign and do whatever you want. And they knocked it out of the park. And, he talked about, Chris Van Vliet said something about you don't really have to go away right now. You've still got it. We can still see it in the ring. And John Cena's like, but that's all I can give. And it's like, that's what I saw. Like, maybe it wasn't his best match ever, but it was damn sure one of the best that I've seen in a long time. And I mean, again, whether you liked it or not, I mean, the dude wrestled more matches than he's had since I think 2017 this year. So
yeah,
you can't really complain about that. Whether you liked it or not, there was a lot of great fan service moments. He hit all the notes with all the rivals. Like, I was a fan of it. We'll get more into that at another point in the show. But man, number 2, I feel like a lot of people would expect to go with the Money in the Bank, pay-per-view match with Punk.
Ooh.
That's one of the best ones. Truly one of the best, not only John Cena matches, not only CM Punk matches, one of the best, WWE matches of all time. It's truly one of the ones that you could put on anytime anytime you want to watch it, and it's still just as great. But I think back to the 2013 match before Mania, where the winner fought for, the spot to fight The Rock in the main event. And I think there was a lot of hope that, as I said, it was kind of, I'm a Cena fan. I'm also a Punk fan. So I think there was kind of some hope that we'd get a triple threat, because I didn't really want to see Once in a Lifetime Part 2. And it kind of made him look really dumb to do it, the year after. But I'm not a booker. But be able to, like, just see those two go at it at the height of their careers. I mean, do a pile driver. We never really saw that, it's banned for a reason. The stakes involved, the constant near falls, like, that's just peak John Cena. I think being able to kind of grasp the crowd. And we saw that a little bit with this match with Gunther. And then in the same essence with Gunther and Punk, you have his opponent who can kind of not lead him, but do the dance with it. It's a 2-person dance, and he's constantly right there making all the moves and actually, making the match flow a lot better than you'd get with a, John Cena, Alex Riley or something. I'm just throwing 2 names out there, but it works so well. And I think that match, with the stakes involved was just peak. And to get it on a free Raw, I mean, again, you want to go talk about honorable mentions. I mean, you can't not go without mentioning the 60-minute match with Shawn Michaels on Raw. At the time I was a kid, I think that was I want to say 07.
It was the week after WrestleMania 23, so it would have been 2007.
So 07. Okay, so at the time,
it could have been a month after, but
yeah. And I'm into WWE at the time. I'm actually kind of getting to the point where I'm about to fall out for a while, but I was still of the essence of like, I'm knowledgeable of the point that some of these Raw matches are going to be quick. Then they're going to get to another segment. They're not going to be these pay-per-view style length matches. And I never really owned any pay-per-views or had any bought for me until the network came out. But watching that match and just seeing it just never stopped. It just kept going. And that was so cool. And that's what, I compare it to the Punk match in the sense of like, we're getting this on free TV. And that was the one thing, you come home from school and you're wait around till 8:00. You finally got your own TV in your bedroom, and it's like, WWE's Raw starting. I can play Xbox.
Locked in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm locked in. Got the Mountain Dew and everything. So yeah, the Punk match would certainly be up there. And then, man, I kind of want to not pick another match. And I want to think of
how about Cena versus AJ Styles SummerSlam 2016?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
The arena! I was losing my mind that night.
Honestly, you could go with the Rumble match return in 2008. Yeah. Obviously, that popped the crowd, popped JR like crazy. This is a really dumb one and a really like small piece in history. But I always remember the John Cena, Eddie Guerrero parking lot brawl, where he's in the 54 Chicago Bears jersey He's got that stupid headband on. And it was just like, you knew who Eddie Guerrero was. I was a big fan of the SmackDown 6. I was just talking again. I keep bringing to my friends, but my older brother used to do karate tournaments, and he was a big fan of WWE Raw, and I was a big fan of SmackDown because of, Lesnar and Cena and all that. And my parents used to both get us the Raw and SmackDown magazines. The other day, I found one at a store for $5, and I bought it.
Wow.
It's a WrestleMania 21 Raw match. But I always remember that match because it was, you knew who Eddie was. You knew he was kind of always the guy who was going to put on the great match, have the funny little segment with the lie, cheat, and steal. And then Cena was this dude who was just rapping all the time and wearing like cool ass throwbacks. Like as a kid, as a sports fan, I'm like, I want one of those. let me get one of those. Yeah. And, he'd rock the Larry Bird or the Pacers jersey, Reggie Miller. But that was just like 10 minutes of fun. Like they just beat the shit out of each other. And it was cool because it was like, I never watched pay-per-views. I never really saw a match like that to where it was, a little bit more violent in the sense. I mean, they're throwing him through the car. And like, I think that's kind of around the time where Cena was, getting stabbed by Carlito's henchman or whatever for the U.S. title. Yeah, like that was just one of those first moments that I kind of remember thinking like, man, this dude's kind of cool. Like he can take a beating, and like his raps were hilarious for at the time. I don't think I was watching as it was live, but maybe like watched around like 05. So I was like 7, 6 or 7. I was like, oh, this is cool. He's saying bad words and everything.
Yeah. Cena had a lot of great moments from what I've seen over the years. I mean, his feud with Edge. In fact, I was at New Year's Revolution in Albany when Edge did the first ever cash in on John Cena after John Cena had gotten through Elimination Chamber. The Royal Rumble return, which was pretty big, which I was there for that. Not to mention WrestleMania 22 when Cena beat Triple H, which was like at that point was like at that point, that moment, which basically validated John Cena as the main guy, with Cena beating Triple H at WrestleMania. A lot of great moments. His feuds with The Rock, his feud with CM Punk.
Oh yeah.
And AJ Styles in 2016 SummerSlam. Like we were losing our minds. This is the best John Cena wrestling I had ever seen.
Yeah.
He was pulling out some new moves that we hadn't seen.
We've seen John Cena
springboarding off the middle rope and
every minute, basically.
Yeah. Like him doing like Mexican destroyers and springboard stunners off the middle rope. Like, he was really like having a good year that year.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean,
he's had a good career.
I think about that. I think about some of his promos. I mean, they're dumb, but like some of those promos with the build up to The Rock with like the pinwheel and the like. He's wearing he brought back the throwback, and he like did the, I'll put my nuts right in your face, and he threw the bag of planner. It's like 13-year-old Tommy was so about that, man. Like that was peak John Cena for me. And then I looked to, this year, it was like the reverse pipe bomb with him doing it on Punk. Like that was awesome. I was so about that.
That was great.
I think it was like, man, I got a shirt for it. It was 2 years or last year. Fastlane was in Indy. I saw John Cena and LA Knight team up. Like, that was cool, dude. Like, that was
Did you go to that? You went to that show, right? Or not?
I was there. I got the shirt and everything. Like, that was the only time I've ever seen John Cena live. And like,
wow.
I know. I could cross it off my list at least once.
Thank God.
I know. I really wanted to go to the Rumble this year, but I didn't. And then WrestlePalooza, I think we were back home, but we were doing stuff with family. So,
wow.
At least I got to see him once, so I'm not going to complain. But yeah, man, I mean, it was weird seeing Cena, like come to an end. And you know, it was. I know we'll get into the match later, but like even at the end when they showed the tribute video, like you kind of see Cena start to tear up and everything, and like you don't really see that a lot. And so I think it was not to take away from the fans, but I think, you know, they want to crap on the booking and they want to, you know, say how bad, you know, the entire run was or whatever. But like, dude's been wrestling in our TVs for 23 fucking years.
Yeah.
And now he's gone. Like he's done forever. And, you know, that's tough. You know, it's going to be a weird change in WWE. And like, I'm sure he'll get in the Hall of Fame and everything, but you know, it was a really cool. I'm glad they put that on like free TV. Like there wasn't on. I know it's on Peacock, but like it was accessible. You were able to watch it, and they uploaded it up to YouTube pretty quickly after. Like, I'm glad that it was able to be watched by a lot of people. And there were a lot of rumors that it was going to be first to start the show, and then
I heard a lot of back and forth rumors.
Yeah, and then I'm glad he certainly deserved last. And yeah, I mean, it was a good, in my eyes, if I'm looking at it as not like a John Cena fan, it was a good end to a great career. And if I'm looking at it as a John Cena fan, I think it was a good end to a great career. Like, I don't think that they messed up the finish as much as people want to say they did, but, you know, sue me. But yeah, there is nothing but great memories that I have from John Cena. I was one of those fans who, you know, kind of got into him around the winning WrestleMania 20. It was like, hey, this guy showed up on SmackDown. He's got the U.S. title. How did he do that? You know, you look up on the computer, he won and everything. And then I kind of fell out of love in 2008 around the Royal Rumble. And it was like, for 3+ years, you know, I'd kind of sneak back in and watch, but it's like, dude, come on. Why does Cena keep winning? Like, I was one of those dudes, like, dude, okay, I get it, enough. And then Punk coming back in kind of brought, or not Punk coming back in, but Punk rising to the statue that he was to bring up the Money in the Bank. Like, that's when I was hooked again. And I've been a fan ever since. And I mean, you've seen so much of Cena again with the continuation of the Super Cena stuff, the phenomenal wrestling that he had with the Open Challenge, the like you said, the AJ Styles stuff. I mean, just some of the more fun. I know a lot of people, we don't want to talk about the COVID era. I loved the Firefly Funhouse match. Like, those are probably my two favorite matches, the Firefly Funhouse and the Boneyard match, the same pay-per-view. But I just, whether you liked it or not, you got to put in the fact that we saw 35 dates John Cena, and he wrestled on 18 of them. And, like, that's awesome. Like,
we got more John Cena than we got more Roman Reigns.
Correct. And if you were thinking like, oh, John's going to, you know, this will be a squash, or John's going to do like a few moves and then it'd be over. No, dude, he did it all. Through the table, you know, the leg drop off the top rope. The only thing he was missing was the heart punch that he was doing for a little bit in like 19 and 20 or whatever. But I'm so glad that I got to watch almost all of the appearances, or at least see something on YouTube. And again, I mean, I think it's great that he, you know, decided to give each fan in their own city of where the show was going to be at their own shirt, like designed and specifically referencing whatever's in that city. I think that, you know, he, as an actor, fully did dedicate himself to being in WWE, along with filming Peacemaker and, you know, doing media for that, like still kind of probably taking movie roles. So, you know, I mean, hats off to him. It was a great run. And yeah, I mean, I was a fan of the match. I don't know about you.
No, it was great. In fact, we have a comment here. Let's see. Firefly Funhouse might be my favorite match of all time, and it's barely a match. I mean, talk about storytelling within a
That's
match and going
exactly.
through out history of John Cena's past. It was a very, very entertaining match for
Was
sure. It's definitely
were-
memorable.
was that one? Was that one the main of? Which one was that on? Was that night
So
one or night two?
it would have been night one.
Okay, here, let me pull it up
That's a really good question.
because I thought Taker. I thought they
I think
finished.
Taker AJ opened night, closed night one, and
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
Cena Wyatt was in the middle of night two somewhere.
I typed WrestleMania 31 and not WrestleMania 35 or 36. There we go. Give me 1 second here.
Let's see. We got a comment here. Let's see. Night one, and it didn't main event. I'm pretty sure, according to Douglas.
Didn't main event.
Yeah, no, I know it definitely didn't main event.
Wikipedia says it was night two. It was the match before Lesnar and McIntyre. Okay.
Gotcha.
So, but again, like we saw the Boneyard match, and I think that was kind of. It was great. I enjoyed it, but I think it kind of played into those. We had seen Undertaker in those matches. We'd seen him in, casket and buried alive matches and boiler room brawls where the you got to put your mind away for a second and you realize it like, okay, I get it now. But this match was the first time seeing Cena, and I mean they hit on even the smallest stuff that like the most in tune wrestling fans would get with the NWO and everything. Like that's cool. That's great storytelling, and that's what makes wrestling great. Is I have my girlfriend into it, which I never would have thought I'd say, but like it's like a soap opera where they wrestle, like where they fight, and you know what? My mom watched soap operas. I remember watching them with her as a kid. Like I'm into it for a reason. Like it keeps you entertained if you let yourself be entertained.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was. It was one of those where it's like, how are you going to tell this story, or what is this Firefly Funhouse going to be when they advertised it with no crowd? And they did it perfectly. Like it's such a great match. I'd watch it every year if I could. I just don't really have time to go back and watch all the matches every time, but like,
yeah.
It's just a great match. It's so fun, and I think obviously it had an impact on Cena in the sense of as I said, the AJ Styles match doing the Wyatt tribute. Like,
yeah,
Bray Wyatt is one of the Wyndham Rotunda is one of the greatest storytellers, and I think he would have been a phenomenal producer or whatever would have come in his next stage in life had he not passed away. But yeah, that's one of my all-time favorite matches.
So excuse me, we're going to segue just a little bit. As we know, about over a year and a half ago, John Cena announced his retirement tour in advance to the crowd, which stunned the crowd. I believe that was Money in the Bank 2024, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So we got that announcement. And sure enough, as we know, in hindsight, John Cena is sticking to his word.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't believe we're a year and a half removed since that announcement even. But we had the official John Cena farewell tour start this year, January 2025, and ran its course through this past Saturday. What I wanted to ask you about is your thoughts about the farewell tour. And specifically, there are a couple key moments that happened. We had Jey Uso eliminated John Cena. Then we saw maybe a slight little subtle change to his character. Then we see John Cena turn on Cody, which really, like, the fans were calling it for years for this to happen. And when that initial moment, it shocked the world. It had the wrestling world buzzing. But then where we
not even just had the wrestling world. Dude, I got texts from my mom and my girlfriend's mom and other multiple friends saying, did you see John Cena turn heel? Like, I don't think it was just I saw it on the AP, Associated Press. I saw it everywhere. I don't think that again, people want to, bag on wrestling as much as they can, but it is pop culture. And
like
I mean,
that
was a moment that will stand
forever,
very long time
forever. And it was such a big moment. But then we thought this was going to go somewhere, but it didn't. We got a little heel run, title run. Then we had an IC run. So what did you think of these moments that took place in 2025 alone? What were your thoughts? Maybe what were your highs and lows?
Yeah, I mean, again, as I've been saying, you can't fault the man. 35 dates, not going to complain at all. 18 matches, most since 2017. Not going to be upset. There were some moments that maybe as a booker, I wouldn't have gone for. I understand going with Jey Uso. You got to build another star, and we'll talk about that when we get to the Gunther match. But it didn't really work out the way WWE probably wanted to, and I think the fans would have loved to have seen.
Storytelling
Cena,
with Travis Scott and The Rock.
Yeah. Well, but also I think fans would have wanted to see Cena get that. What would that have been? His third Rumble.
I believe so.
Yeah, I guess he won 08 and 13. So yeah. Tied him with Austin. And again, it would have just been a great kickstart to the thing. We all knew he was going to be in the main event. It's kind of you can't really say, hey, John Cena's going to be here for 35 plus dates, but expect him to be on the, pre-show, the opening match or whatever. And I'm sure he would have done it, but I think as Triple H and Nick Khan would have both known, like, yeah, you can't do that if it's his retirement tour. We knew that we were going to get Cody and Cena because, of course, I mean, man, dude, like I just said, talk about that heel turn, dude, like that. For a moment, it felt like, man, this shit is like really cool. This is becoming water cooler talk kind of thing.
It felt like the world slowed down.
Yeah,
it was water cooler talk.
It was crazy. Like it was the thing that as a fan, like again, as somebody who experienced the entire run and saw the, I'm tired of and wanted the like, please stop with the Super Cena stuff just once. Like, why did the Nexus not win kind of thing? Like,
I agree.
It was like, we're finally doing this. We're going to get a whole heel turn. And then like maybe in the last 2 months, turn him back to face and great. Like, plant a little seeds. We saw it with the Truth match where he like didn't want to hit him with the belt for a minute. Like you could plant those seeds for a good bit, but I don't have a problem with Travis Scott being there. It's a sports entertainment business. Yeah. Like, and I know people hate that, and but they appeal to an entertainment crowd.
Yeah,
they have actors. They show if famous people in the arena every night. It's just part of the way that WWE is. It's the same thing with. I mean, they're owned by the people who own UFC. So they do the same thing in the UFC. Him being the one involved in the WrestleMania main event versus The Rock. I don't know. I still don't understand that one in the sense of if you're The Rock, like, I know I don't know, the filming schedule or whatever, but that new UFC movie where he plays Mark Kerr. I don't remember the title of it off the head of my head right now, but maybe he was doing stuff for that. I don't know, but like if you have a stake in TKO and that your biggest star across both companies is leaving, I don't know how you can't or how you put yourself into part of the story and then just back off. And again,
I agree.
I'm not The Rock. I don't know his schedule. That's what maybe wasn't his call. I felt like it should have been because he's the boss. But
so Tommy, we have a question about that, a comment about that. Let me see. So the initial turn was one of the most shocking moments, according to Doug, of WWE's modern era. Too bad the follow through didn't pan out how most thought it should. I 100% agree. who do you put the blame on most for that? And in my opinion, Tommy, like Triple H is kind of higher than. I'm sorry, The Rock is kind of higher than
Yes, yeah,
Triple H,
yeah.
as The Rock is part owner. He
Correct.
can tell Triple H one day, I'm going to be on the show, and then Triple H has got to put him on.
Triple H
Or
is going to say,
he
yes,
can be
sir,
like, oh, I
boss.
can't make it. And then Triple H has got to readjust and creative. So I would have to say that putting the blame would probably be on The Rock for that. And then that put, Triple H and creative team in scramble mode. But Tom, like, as far as like what you've seen, how would you answer that question?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, and this will go into the retirement match thing too. I think Triple H catches a lot of flack, some of it warranted, some of it not. But you got to remember, Nick Khan is the president of WWE. I mean, he oversees everything. He's the answerer to the TKO stockholders. You want to know who one of the stockholders is? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who's his boss, basically. So there's a little bit of stuff in between Triple H, and so yeah, I mean, again, as I said, if you're gonna put yourself, and again, this is not just a big wrestling moment. Like the Austin turn was a big moment.
That was a huge moment.
But in the sense of the way that the internet is now and the way that technology is and everything and how fast moments like that get spread around the world, like it's uncomparable in that sense. And so with Cena, like this is the biggest moment in wrestling. At I don't know the next moment that somebody's going to top.
I mean,
Cena's
from
retirement.
here on in, I don't know who can top it for now, but I mean, like the three biggest moments that I've ever seen was, the NWO, Hulk Hogan turning on the fans, which was the biggest shock in that era.
Yep.
Austin turning and aligning with Vince McMahon was a huge shock at the end of WrestleMania 17, and then this one, the three biggest moments, heel turns of all time.
Yeah, and again, like I said, it's not unfair to them, but like you can't compare the two to Cena just because of the way that the world is now with how technology is. And if you're going to say, okay, I'm going to put myself into this moment, that's going to be the one moment that may if I don't know what Time does or whatever. I don't know if they release a biggest 50 moments of the year or whatever, but if there was a biggest 50 moments of the year list, this is probably the first wrestling one that could be on it ever, outside of maybe the NWO, in the sense of how popular it was at that time with cable audiences. So if you're going to put yourself into that and then just not follow through at all, like not once, that's where I kind of just have an issue with that. Like I think the story, I gave him credit to hitting all the notes with all the all the rivals, but are you kidding me? Are you telling me that it wouldn't have been so great if The Rock did that or something, or like he's giving Cena a hug or something, and then Cena kicks him in the balls? Like, come on.
Oh my gosh.
Like that would have been, again, I don't know The Rock's physical condition. I don't know if he ever wants to do another match or if we're never going to get Roman and him, but like, dude, like again, at this point, I don't really care because the cog's going to keep turning. The cog's been turning for over 40 damn years, and it's going to keep turning after that. But it could have been that part could have been done better.
How do you feel about as the year progressed? Now we're heading into SummerSlam, of putting the belts on Cody at SummerSlam. Do you think maybe they could have drug that out a little bit more, just to kind of keep the fans guessing as to who was going to take the title off of Cena, or if it would even happen?
I didn't have a problem with it.
I mean, I'm a huge Cody fan. I was there at SummerSlam, by the way.
Hell yeah.
But I'm a huge Cody fan. I did not certainly mind it. But were you okay with how Cena turned back into a face, him losing the title? And then what I want to ask you after that is if we can drive right into your thoughts on Cena winning the IC title this year
Yeah.
and holding that for about 2 weeks.
Yeah. So the Cody thing, damn problem with it. I think obviously, he's not going to hold the belt the whole time. And I think it was not like a passing of a torch, because I know Cody's kind of old, but it kind of was. And I think we all knew Cody was probably going to get it back, and Cena was still going to hit the spots with other, past rivals. So I felt like that was a smart move. Great match, by the way. I mean, they tore the house down. Cena coming out with the black Titantron, and then it flips to his normal stuff. That was great. Crowd was so into it.
As a heel, he should have not came with any music.
I agree with you. I would have.
He should have took it all away as a heel.
That would have been so good. And because the boos. I mean, how could you drown that out if the whole crowd's booing him? But again, as we saw, it's kind of hard to boo John Cena.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was fine with that. I don't mind Cody being the champ. When he is, but yeah, I'm sure I'm not sure. I don't know who's good. I don't know how the WrestleMania main event's going to shape up. I'd love to see LA Knight in that role, but yeah, dug that. And then fast forward, thought there were some good matches in there. Loved the Ron Cena, bringing him back. I thought that was great. I think maybe I got my schedule wrong, but that was fun when R-Truth came back. I love the interactions with Dom, man. I think we were sitting here 5 years ago talking about SummerSlam 2020.
I have to go back in some of those old videos.
Yeah.
And see what I was saying about Dominic, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't positive things.
I think one of us were talking about how we thought he could be pretty good, but I mean, yeah. I mean, it's so weird seeing him, and it's like, dude, like he's got
it.
If
he just needs a little bit more bicep muscles.
If it wasn't for Gunther, upset or beating retiring Cena, Dom would have the most heat in the business, brother. Like he's so damn over as a heel, and when he turns face, is gonna be, incredible. And I mean, the fact that they have AAA now just brings a whole new audience, which is great. That he's kind of getting that rub over there too. Yeah, love Dom. I love that they gave Cena the kind of the Grand Slam champion thing. I don't think he really could care less. It was basically just a thank you, but I didn't mind the fact that he won it and then lost it, but wouldn't it have been cool if he just for 1 week just did the open challenge? Do a match with Sammy or something. Bring that back, like for fun. Like I don't know that. Yeah. I felt weird that he just didn't defend it at all until the end.
Yeah, that crowd in Boston was something else.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like kicking myself for not going to that show. And speaking of like Saturday night's main event, those tickets were for like $400 sitting in those leads. I'm like, come on. I mean, I love WWE, John Cena, whatever, but like I just wasn't that desperate to get to DC that night. And then we come to find out a half hour before the show started, the tickets went down half.
Really?
Went down below 200. I'm like, I could have just driven there before the last.
You should have started driving before.
Oh my gosh! But then hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
Good thing we didn't drive back up because of the weather. But yeah. Dominic.
Yeah, we got a lot here in Pittsburgh. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, you're not too far from the belt, but lake effect snow. But Dominic Mysterio is definitely. Through the help of many superstars and, most recently John Cena, his stock has continued to go up and up and up. He's must see on TV. Like I said, I like him to look a little bit more believable and hit the gym a little more with those biceps, but because
the tattoos.
But other than that, he's got the look. He can talk. He's got the women
incredibly, and obviously, like we know that Rey Mysterio is his dad.
Yeah.
But my gosh, does he play the part of looking
Yes.
like Eddie Guerrero?
Yes.
03, like his doppelganger. I mean, it's incredible. And the fact that they did the whole custody match, I mean, the storytelling there is ridiculously so easy for WWE. Like they basically don't even have to have writers for that story. Just like, hey, just Ray, Dom, go out there and talk about how much you hate your dad or your son.
So
Perfect.
the last part of this show, for those of you guys that are watching on Instagram, we could cut out early at the 1 hour mark. However, if that does
I'll keep
happen,
my
switch
thoughts
over
short.
to our YouTube channel, and that will not cut out, we promise. So for those of you guys that are watching, feel free to leave some comments of what you guys thought of John Cena's final farewell tour. And now we're gonna just segue really quick into talking John Cena's final match. His final match against Gunther. Gunther earning the right to be the last one to face John Cena this past Saturday, as he went through a number of superstars in the tournament, including beating Javon Evans, beating LA Knight, to earn his spot to be on main event to face John Cena in John Cena's last match. So let's talk about the match. What are your thoughts? The right decision, and if you want to shed light on what this does for Gunther too as a result of John Cena's match.
All right, so I'll make this quick because I think you said we cut off at like 55 minutes or so. So I do want to give a little shout out to the pre-match stuff. I don't know if most people remember this. We have The Miz come out. I think it's Tessitore and Stephanie doing an interview, and then we see The Miz in the ring. One of the people who made a plea of like, why didn't I get my match? I think he got thrown into the tournament because of an injury. I didn't keep up fully with the tournament too much, but having him come out and then I'm like, oh, okay. My thought is Cena's gonna get a quick win, come out, pin The Miz, hit him with an AA, and then then he gets one win in front of the crowd, and then he loses. I know it's weird. And then we see, R-Truth come out as Ron Cena. Love it. That's hilarious. And then another guy who people really wanted to see in this tournament, Joe Hendry. I mean, the fact that he got the rub there and got to have a match, love it. I was so about that. I think it's cool that Cena, even in his last date, still gave, two of his best, maybe not friends, but, rivals in the industry, people that he's been connected with for a good bit. And then Hendry, who he had a few moments with in the Rumble. Love that. So about that. And then we get to the match. It went. At first, I was like, man, are we going to get a squash match? Like, is this going to be like, that would be kind of crazy. But WWE's done bolder stuff than that. And I mean, talk about heel heat. I mean, we'll get into that, but it would have made Gunther. And it was great that we saw Cena get to do everything. We were talking before the show, like you got to see Cena do the AA, the STF. He did the leg drop off the top rope. He did the avalanche AA. He did an AA through the table. Like
5 knuckle shuffles.
I forget who said it, but it was like almost like 2 total matches in one, in the sense of you had Cena, constantly fighting back, doing his Super Cena stuff, hitting those big moves. And then you had a whole 10-minute match of just the sleeper hold, where it was like, and that sounds stupid, but Gunther made a sleeper hold. Gunther and Cena made a sleeper hold so compelling. Like, you see Cena fight out it, and then, Gunther replies it again. Then Cena fights out of it, and he might get 2 or 3 punches in, and then, back into it. And then the next time he might hit his finisher, and then again. Like that, I was so about it. I keep saying it. I dug that a lot. I really thought that the fact that they could do 2 matches, and it was kind of funny because I told my girlfriend, I forced her to watch it with me, but I was like, man, Cena's doing the call outs mid-match again. Like you can so audibly hear him say, clothesline, or whatever. And like,
I heard some audibles over the past couple of weeks. It wasn't just Saturday night's main event.
Yeah. And so, like, the fact that we got to enjoy, like, I don't know what the time was, maybe like a 25-minute match. The ending, yeah, what are you going to do as a fan to have him be like, I never give up, and then he gives up, that stinks. I guess I would have rather have seen him just pass out, because then, it still makes Gunther look great, but I'm sure Cena had a play in that and wanted it to be that way. He smiled, like, kind of like, gave all I got, and this is it, like, I was cool with that. And man, talk about, I know, again, I said a lot of people gave Triple H shit, but who's been as big of a heel in the last 10 years, outside of Roman, in the sense of, like, in Roman, again, this new regime of WWE loves their long form storytelling. I don't know if people have picked up on that, but obviously the bloodline, like we see it with Alpha Academy, like they love telling stories that take a long time to build.
Yes.
And so with this, it's like
100%.
He's already retired Goldberg, just retired Cena. There's rumors that because SummerSlam's in Minnesota, we're going to get Brock Lesnar retiring. If you retire him with Gunther, I mean, and you're building up, the next big star, and whether it's, Javon Evans or I'm a big Carmelo fan. I really hope he's starting to get his rub.
I think so. I think he's going to get there.
If you start building up a guy at the same point, you got to have a new star. You got to have a new John Cena. Like, Cody's getting too old. Cena or Punk's already nearing his 50s. Like, I know most wrestling fans, and this isn't like, oh, I'm better than you kind of thing or anything like that. But, like, most wrestling fans are looking at it in the point of, like, okay, they ruined Cena's retirement tour and they ruined the ending. And it's like, man, this set up WWE for the next year and a half, 2 years at least. Could you imagine the pop that whoever that babyface is when he finally beats Gunther, this like Terminator at WrestleMania? What are we going into? 43?
42.
42. Okay, yeah, let's say 43. Do it at 43 in Saudi, especially because, again, I know people aren't happy about that, but like,
oh gosh, when I get started.
Yeah, but those fans are crazy over there. Even Cena's talked about it. Like, that's gonna be a pop, man. That's gonna be a moment. I hope they don't do it there. I hope they save it for 44. But like,
yeah,
I understand the storytelling. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it ended, but I understand it.
Yeah, there were a lot of shots, looks on those faces. They came to see Cena win, but even I had said on this podcast weeks prior that. Maybe even a week or two prior, especially since we officially knew that it was Gunther facing John Cena, that Gunther would benefit from this more 100%. Because if Gunther loses, then what for Gunther? But if Gunther wins, now you have something for him to go off of for the next 6 to 12 months. How he retired this wrestler, that wrestler, and I took out John Cena. I retired him. Like that, it just adds a whole nother layer and gives Gunther something to talk about.
Another thing that I thought about is like, Cena's talked about that he's kind of messed up in the sense of like, I brought up the Nexus. He's admitted in interviews that he messed up and he shouldn't have called to win that match. Like, as he's gotten older, and again, we saw with the US Open Challenge, like, I think he's more self-aware that like, I need to put people over in this business for it to continue. And he's talked about that. That's why he wanted NXT stars on the show. Yeah. So, putting
Speaking of Oba Femi, man.
Yeah, dude.
You want to talk about a possible next megastar?
Oh, yeah. He's got it, man. But yeah, I think that like that was the only way Cena was going to go out. There was no other there was no chance of Cena winning that match. Like, at least in my eyes of how Cena would look. Maybe not in how I would have wanted it or how fans would have wanted it, but if I was John Cena, I understand why he would go with that decision.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely the decision made sense for Saturday Night Main Event for Gunther to go over because now it continues. It gets the ball rolling. It
Again,
adds to
man,
Gunther.
2
And
whole years of
it
storytelling.
creates a whole nother story.
At least we don't even know who the next young star is going to be. But you got Javon Evans killing it in NXT. You got Carmelo coming up. I mean,
Yeah,
shit, you got
Braun Breaker is going to be your
Braun Breaker. You got LA
seemingly
Knight.
your next big guy, Oba.
Yeah, Oba. I know LA
Ricky
Knight's
Saints.
older. Ricky, I love Ricky Saints. But like there's a plethora of guys who could, take over, and it's going to happen at some point. As much as we don't want it to, all these guys that we love, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and I've heard Jericho might come back, but like Daniel Bryan, like they're going to retire. Like they're going to be gone, just like Cena, and like
none of these guys are going to make it
rolling.
to WrestleMania 50.
Yeah, the cog keeps rolling, man, and like that's just how it is. As much as I'm sure, as like you being a little kid, like I may be wrong on this sense, but like whether it was Hogan or Owen or whatever or anybody around that era, like when they started retiring, you're like, man, this sucks, and then you're like, well, who's the next guy I'm gonna root for? It was Brock Lesnar or The Rock or whoever. Like,
you're right.
That's just how it is, man. That's why we love this stuff, is because it never stops. Yeah, it may not be great all the time, but it never stops.
That's why NXT, these promotions, NXT, AEW, AAA, Evolve, like they are just so important to the business right now. Even having the, AEW as a competitor is so important to the business and creating more opportunities for more young guys to come up and always have like a better chance to have a place in the business.
Yeah.
And but yeah, well, Tommy, that's pretty much all I have as far as questions. Is there anything else you want to throw in there? Last minute comments about John Cena's career? Anything at all?
Man, if you can find it on eBay, go pick up the John Cena My Life 3-disc DVD set. It's got the whole third disc is dedicated to this web series that he did. It's like 5 minutes or so each episode, 5 to 8 minutes or so each episode. It's got the whole series on there, and it is some of the funniest shit I truly have ever seen. He's bagging on the Brooklyn Brawler, Steve Lombardi, all the time. It's like set in like 05 or 07, I think. Perfect. I highly recommend it. You can probably find it on eBay for like $4. That's what I got it for. It's one of my favorite DVDs to own.
Oh.
But yeah, man, love John Cena. Glad I got to watch the whole retirement tour. Glad I got to join you and talking about him. This was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, this is honestly the quickest hour I've probably ever had on the podcast. I kid you not. This hour flew.
We still got it, brother. We still got it.
Those of you guys that are watching, this is our last show of this year. We are going to come back. We're going to rest for 2 weeks. We're probably going to do some shorts, so be on the lookout for that. But we're going to rest for 2 weeks unless something monumental happens on one of the next 2 Raws or SmackDowns. We'll probably hop on. But January 5th, me and Bash will be back, which we anticipate to be a big Monday Night Raw. So we're going to be coming in hot for the new year.
But
Tommy, yeah, maybe. But Tommy, thank you so much for hopping on. So those of you guys that are watching, it's been great. Those of you guys that are watching, be sure to share this with your friends, comments, like, subscribe. This will help us out. We will be back in the new year, 2026. To everybody watching, you guys have a Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Heck yeah. And Tommy, I'll be texting you over the next week or two, but good luck to your Denver Broncos.
Thank you, brother. Got a big game this weekend. Jacksonville coming to town. Looking forward to it.
Playoff preview, baby.
Looking forward to it.
From the champion. J6! That could be it. Delivers this